Tell me about your first encounter with self-inquiry. So, one of the things I know that a lot of previous gurus, teachers, whatever you want to call them, like Sri Ramana Maharishi, for example, he was quite big on self-inquiry. So tell us a little bit about your first inquiry and what self-inquiry really is.
Self-inquiry came into my life when I was going through my empowerment phase. It was all about like living the life I want to live, creating the life I want to live. And I really started to feel some success at that. I felt like, hey, I really, because I went through a period like three or 4 years or so of like really focusing, working hard, and like what I felt was like changing my belief systems and going through like those, sort of like those experiences where I really start to see that, hey, like I am influencing my life. So I started to have little achievements in my work. I started to go travel and do the things that I wanted. All the things that I didn't think I would be able to do back in like when I was going through my physical illness. Like now I started to do all those things, and I was really living in an amazing life, what I really, really wanted. And I had the freedom that I wanted, not to like some crazy extent, but like I really like, I felt like at that time I was living like my dream life. But I started to notice this thing that like, so previously when I was in a great phase of limitation and pain, my mind used to believe that if I live the life I want, I'll be happy. Or that like I'll no longer want things. So it's all about like, hey, if my circumstances change, this inner misery will go away, or like this inner anxiety or restlessness. But when I started to experience the very things that I wanted, of course, like it's pleasurable while it's there. But it's like there's a constant, so still the mind is constantly anxious to maintain it, anxious about what's going to come, anxious about wanting more or wanting something else. So I just started to observe this condition, not like knowingly. I just started to like feel like, hey, this is weird because, I'm doing what I want. I feel like I have personal freedom, at least in this phase of life at that time. I was like, but I'm like, why has the condition of my mind not changed? Yeah, it feels more confident and good about itself because it has created these things. But like still, why is it like the mind is still anxious, future is still unknown, so that causes uncertainty and fear. So yeah, I just started to observe those things. Luckily, because like the teachings find us, we don't really find the teaching. Luckily during that time, because I had started to grow more curious about that, I just found myself randomly ordering the book Who Am I from Amazon because I was about to go on my first ever 4-day meditation retreat in California. So like I wanted to take some reading material there, and I don't know, I stumbled upon the book Who Am I and I Am That, and I bought them both on Amazon. No idea why I did not search for them. I just found them on Amazon, and I was like, oh, this seems interesting. Who am I? Yeah, so that was my introduction to self-inquiry. On that meditation retreat, I took that book and I read it over there, and it was because it's like if you've ever read it, it's like a 15-page book. It's
20 questions or something.
Exactly. It's very, very distilled into like the essence of Ramana's teachings, and in that he really uses words to point to you. He points our attention away from what we thought we were into like the direct experience of ourself. So it's like for the first time through that, as I was reading the simple words on that in that book, for the first time, I acknowledged the very fact that I am. It guided my noticing into the sense of self, and it made me aware that like this sense of self has never ever changed. Okay, like, and it was simpler for me to recognize, because in just a very few short years, I went from like a totally different body, like a body that was in pain and felt like, like destroyed, a totally different state of mind, emotion, belief. And like in a few years, like when I was doing the healing and empowerment journey, my whole condition has changed, bodily and mentally and emotionally, right? So it was like I was almost experiencing a brand new body, brand new mind, brand new everything. But like the sense of self that had both those experiences has not changed. It was just the same me. But like everything I take myself to be has completely changed so drastically, yet I am still I. So there was some sense of continuity that had not changed. So as when that book guided me through its simple words into the noticing of this sense of changeless being myself, I became extremely curious. And this question, who am I, became the main objective of my life. Because Ramana in that book says, like, if you don't know yourself,